I never thought I would see the glowing screen of my wife's phone at 2 a.m., illuminating a name that wasn't mine, a message that wasn't for me. The soft hum of the refrigerator was the only other sound in our quiet Los Angeles home. A stark contrast to the violent earthquake erupting inside my chest. Her breathing was even deep, oblivious. As I lay there, paralyzed, watching the words "can't wait for tomorrow" flash across the display, my world, built on trust and shared dreams, began to crack, the fissures spreading with each silent, damning pixel. I felt a cold dread seep into my bones, a premonition of the abyss I was about to fall into. The mystery wasn't asterisk if asterisk she was cheating, but asterisk who asterisk and asterisk how deep asterisk the betrayal ran. And as the screen dimmed, leaving me in the suffocating darkness, I knew my life would never be the same. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation hit me first, a tidal wave of nausea that threatened to drown me. Sarah, my wife of 10 years, the woman I'd built a life with, was a stranger. The next morning, she was all smiles, pouring coffee, asking about my day, her voice a sickeningly sweet lie. I watched her, a knot tightening in my stomach, trying to reconcile the loving partner with the deceitful stranger. Her behavior had been subtly off for weeks, late nights at work events, a new obsession with her phone, a sudden aloofness in bed. I dismissed it as stress, the pressures of her new marketing job downtown. How foolish I had been. The slow discovery was agonizing. I started noticing things. A receipt for a fancy dinner at Perch on South Hill Street, dated a night she claimed to be working late. A new expensive perfume I hadn't bought her. Then, the texts. I couldn't bring myself to snoop directly, but glimpses were enough. A notification from Mark S. on her lock screen, a heart emoji. My blood ran cold. Mark S. was her new boss, a slick, arrogant man I'd met once at a company picnic, all expensive watch and condescending charm. He lived in a penthouse in Santa Monica, a world away from our modest home in Silver Lake. Sarah, meanwhile, grew colder, more manipulative. She'd pick fights over trivial things, accuse me of being distant, project her guilt onto me. You're never around, John," she'd snap, her eyes hard. Maybe if you paid more attention, things would be different. The audacity was breathtaking. She was building a narrative where I was the villain, justifying her actions before I even knew what they were. I felt like I was losing my mind, trapped in a psychological war I didn't understand. The affair partner, Mark, seemed to revel in his smugness. I saw them once, by chance, at a coffee shop on Sunset Boulevard. They were laughing, his hand casually on her arm, her head thrown back in a way she hadn't laughed with me in months. They looked untouchable, basking in their secret world while mine crumbled. I broke down one evening, sitting in my car overlooking the lights of the city from Griffith Observatory. The pain was a physical entity, crushing my chest, stealing my breath. But beneath the despair, a cold, hard resolve began to form. Humiliation turned to anger, and anger to a chilling clarity. I wouldn't just leave. I would dismantle her life, piece by agonizing piece. I would make sure she felt every ounce of the betrayal she had inflicted. My revenge began quietly, meticulously. I started gathering proof. I installed a small, discreet camera in our living room, pointed at the front door. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop named Frank, who worked out of a dingy office in Koreatown. Frank's reports were clinical, brutal. Photos of Sarah and Mark entering the Hotel Figueroa downtown, leaving hours later. Text message logs recovered from her old phone bill, filled with sickening endearments. Audio recordings of hushed phone calls, her voice laced with a tenderness she no longer showed me. Each piece of evidence was a nail in the coffin of our marriage, and a brick in the foundation of my plan. I documented everything, creating a dossier that would leave no room for doubt. Then came the traps. I consulted with a divorce attorney, a sharp woman named Ms. Davies, whose office overlooked the bustling streets of downtown LA. She outlined the legal landscape, the financial implications, the custody battles. I learned about California's community property laws, about spousal support, about the legal weight of infidelity. I subtly shifted assets, ensuring my financial future was secure. I also started building a social trap, confided in a few trusted friends, carefully framing my suspicions, planting seeds of doubt about Sarah's character. I knew the gossip mill in our social circle would do the rest. The public exposure was orchestrated with surgical precision. I waited until Sarah and Mark were at a major industry gala, a high-profile event at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, where all their colleagues and industry peers would be present. I had Frank deliver the dossier anonymously, 2 key figures in Mark's company, and to a few influential gossip columnists. The next morning, the headlines screamed. Marketing exec's affair rocks industry, wife of local architect caught in scandal. The photos, the texts, the hotel receipts. It was all there, laid bare for the world to see. Sarah's world imploded. Her career, built on a carefully curated image of professionalism, shattered. Mark, cowardly as predicted, denied everything, throwing her under the bus to save his own skin. Her friends, fueled by the gossip I'd subtly encouraged, turned their backs. The divorce was swift and brutal. Ms. Davies ensured I received a favorable settlement, citing Sarah's egregious conduct. Sarah lost her job, her reputation, and eventually her apartment. I heard she moved back in with her parents in Orange County, a shadow of the arrogant woman who had once walked out on me. I saw her once, months later, at a grocery store in Glendale. She looked tired, her eyes hollow, her once vibrant confidence replaced by a defeated slump. She didn't see me, and I didn't approach. There was no triumph, no joy, just a profound emptiness. The revenge had been complete, but it hadn't brought back the man I was, or the life we had. It had only left a wasteland. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I had ever heard. The end.